What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, we got asked to do a mock draft of day 2 since we obviously now know what the Colts did in round 1. And we have a chance here to kind of get another little mock draft in here. As you guys can clearly see, we have it here. The Indianapolis Colts are on the clock at pick 45. Denver is asking for a trade where we go back to 51. We would acquire a third rounder from them as well, but we would also have to give up our fifth rounder. Honestly, I would be okay with that, but we're going to reject it at this time just to say what we got. So, 45.
So first off, see who's gone. So there's been a number of guys who have been taken.
So what we have right here, so round 2, Will Johnson, first pick taken, Mason Taylor, Nick Scorton, Shador Sanders, Trey Amos, Donovan Ezeruku, Mike Green, Jonah Savini, Quinshon Judkins, Luther Burden III, Siobhan Ravel, and Landon Jackson.
Yeah, so obviously this is a bummer because 2 of the stud pass rushers are gone that you'd be interested in there. Eamon Warrior is interesting. Do you think you could potentially have him come down and play linebacker? He's super athletic, obviously 10 RAS score, so it's hard to overlook that. Do you think he could come down? He's got some size to him, Derek. He's 220, obviously very, very athletic. I mean, think about that. If he's a 10 for a safety, what is he for a linebacker? Which is kind of crazy.
Mhm.
So, and that's the type of backer you're looking for, right?
And this is a guy that, like, if you're in Lou Anarumo's defense, it doesn't matter if you want him to play as a linebacker or as a safety. You can move him around to whatever Lou Anarumo wants to do. Because, I mean, Nick Emenwari would be a guy that he's just a rare build in talent.
Yeah.
Right? Just with insane skills and just a guy that, like you said, I mean, when you're 6'3", 220 pounds, but you're built like a linebacker.
Yeah.
I mean, and with everything we saw at the combine and everything else, I mean, it's amazing, honestly.
Yeah, he's a major athlete. He can play maybe multiple positions here. You obviously need a third safety, but you also need other linebackers. So it would be tempting here to go Eamon Warrior, a guy that maybe you think can play multiple positions for you. I mean, we saw what they did last year, right? They converted Jalen Carlisle from safety to linebacker. So could that be a similar situation here? Or could he be a little bit position flexible there? So depends how they view him there, but I mean, he's clearly the best player on the board. I'm still shocked he's made it to 45, to be honest with you, just because he's that good of a player. But I think you can't go wrong here, Derek, even if you don't want to go with Eamon Warrior here. I mean, you got Travion Henderson right there. You got multiple different other guys available, which we looked at here. A couple of those edge guys are gone, but there still are a few names there. Carson Schlesinger, obviously, is another guy. Benjamin Morrison sitting there as well. I know he has the injury, but still, he's a really good player for you. So, I mean, you really can't go wrong here, Derek. I think unless you have a guy you fall in love with here, especially with how the board went, it might be tempting to trade back here. But
yes, it would be very tempting to trade back here in this sort of circumstance. I mean, again, I look at Carson Schlesinger here, and I really like this idea of the linebacker, but I'm also tempted to just go with the offensive lineman that you might need already here. So then that way you can get either a defensive lineman or linebacker with your next pick. I don't know. It's very hard because you still have about 5 positions that you need depth at right now.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell what exactly you need. So it's like linebacker, you want to get that sooner rather than later because you don't want to miss out on some of the best ones. You certainly don't want to, I mean, because running back, you feel confident you can get one in the 4th, maybe the 5th round. For safety purposes, I feel like you still could potentially look to be that late. So I don't know. What are we feeling here, Cody? That's a tough decision to make.
I'm thinking either Eamon Warrior or Schlesinger here. Both super athletes, guys that excel in coverage. I mean, frankly, Derek, Eamon Warrior shouldn't be here. So
right, frankly, he shouldn't be. So under realistic circumstances, we think
we'll go Carson. We'll go Carson here.
Yeah, Carson Schlesinger at 45 because odds are somebody might trade up to get Eamon Warrior in the first place.
Yeah.
It's amazing he's still on our thing, even though there he goes,
Honestly.
he just got taken.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but you get the linebacker that is likely going to compete for that number 2 linebacker spot for you.
Yeah, which I love that. So, okay, so round 3 here for the Colts. You could obviously look offensive line here. You could maybe look defensive line as well. When it comes to this, I'm curious who will still stay on here. You got Olajeho here still, which is interesting. Jordan Birch is still there. That would be one that I would definitely consider if I'm Indianapolis.
All right.
Ozzy Trapilo is also there at Boston College.
Yeah, Oladejo is definitely a interesting one there.
I mean, Leatu Latu's teammate, right?
Yep, and obviously Carson Schweisinger's teammate as well.
Yeah, you go
so
UCLA
you go back to back UCLA.
I think Jordan Birch for me be my pick right now.
Jordan Birch, 6'4", 279, the career best season last year, had 8.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, and 6 pass breakups. He's always been the development question has always been for Birch, but the 2024 campaign was his best year. So
high upside guy here. You need an edge guy. So if you don't make some crazy trade here, I would say Jordan Birch to me.
Okay, then we will go with an edge at Jordan Birch there. So with the Indianapolis Colts doing that, so they go straight defense in the second day of drafting, which honestly, that's what we probably assumed.
Yeah,
or they would go, and I mean, there's plenty of offensive linemen that you can look at for immediate day 3 that could still be some quality depth pieces.
Which is why I think that trade down option would be a likely scenario here. I think Schweizinger might still be there if you trade down to like 51, for example.
Maybe.
So like in that scenario, you'd have another 3rd round pick. Then you could address offensive line. You could address the defensive interior, right? There's a couple more needs that you could address here. So all that to say, guys, I think that defense will be the primary focus. And if there's one offense, it will certainly be offensive line.
It will certainly be offensive line. If it is anything offense. I will say this again, guys, it is going to be hectic in that 2nd and 3rd round because there's going to be a lot of teams either trading back or trading up to get some of these really elite talents that are still here early in the 2nd round. And do look for the Indianapolis Colts to potentially trade down, get an extra 3rd pick if they can, acquire more pieces. Because as we kept saying before, there's a lot of talent in this day 2 that could definitely start right away in the NFL if you get the right ones.
Yeah.
So Ballard may say we're willing to go back a few spaces if that means we get an extra round 3 guy that could definitely impact this team right away.
Yeah, that makes some sense there. I mean, we've heard it all the time. We've said it how many times now in the last day or so. Like, there's so many guys here in rounds 2 and 3 that there's not that much movement compared to years past. So, yeah, you get multiple guys here. You get 3 shots on day 2. That would make some sense for the Colts. And I think that's probably the most likely scenario here, unless an Izuruku or a Mike Green or a Will Johnson fall somehow here. Like a player that you view as like, we can't afford to trade back because we need this guy. He's going to come in. He's going to compete for a starting spot immediately. That's what I would say. That would be like my only like, okay, no, we got to stay here and pick. So
absolutely. All right. Well, that's it for this one, guys. That was a quick mock draft of what the Indianapolis Colts can do in rounds 2 and 3. Let us know your thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.